What's up, everyone? Welcome to Power Play with CJ. As many of you know, there's an amazing piece, or I'm letting you know, there's an amazing piece circulating in the Twitter sphere about the 1984 U.S. Olympic team. And I touched on this a few weeks ago, the Phil Housley experience piece, meeting Phil Housley. One of the more intriguing chapters in the history of USA hockey, and how I feel it was a victim of its own success. Jeff Pearlman wrote it, amazing, and Chris Peters of the United States of Hockey tweeted it out. I'd skimmed it earlier in the week. I was busy, and then I've had this idea for a while, and Chris gave it a seal of approval. A 30 for 30 type special on not only the 84 team, the team itself that went to Sarajevo and finished a very, very, very disappointing 7th, but was USA Hockey a victim of its own success because of the 1980 team? Think about it. Obviously, on that 84 team, you had Chelios, Iafrate, Pat LaFontaine, Eddie Olczyk, legitimate studs. But how many guys went right to the pros in between 80 and 84? Phil Housley, Brian Lawton, who tried out with the team and decided to go pro. Who was the other one? Bobby Carpenter. That's just three. That's a tip of the spear. And then Barrasso, which we'll get to in a second. Those guys definitely make a difference for you. For your better players, and in Housley's case, I should be Hall of Famer, but is what it is. And then you go a step further. The piece doesn't Pearlman touches on that they played a tournament in Alaska. Barrasso played with them. The Buffalo Sabres owner came out to see Barrasso, and then he left on a private jet and was never seen or heard from again. My dad always told me there was a point of contention between Varro, the head coach of the 84 team, and Barrasso regarding Barrasso's, I think, sister was getting married, and he told them going into the training regiment that, I got to miss this weekend, whatever it is, to go to my sister's wedding. And it's, yeah, signed off on it. And then, the week before that week, whatever the circumstances were, they ixnayed it. So I don't know the specifics on it. That could just be my dad spewing, but it kind of adds up. But I don't think Barrasso was interviewed with the piece. Chelios wasn't, because they mentioned that Chelios was in a bit of legal trouble in Alaska for robbery. And if that happened with Herb Brooks, he would have been, see you later. But my dad told me about that 84 team. I really became a student of the game of hockey when I was about 14 or 15, when I really started, watching old tapes and really loving, again, the history of the game. And my dad bought me every game from the 1980 Olympics on DVD. It was like $5 on eBay. It was awesome. And we're watching it one of the nights. He's sitting there. He got me that in the 1972 series against the Canada-USSR series, the Super Series. It was awesome. Two of the best gifts ever. And my dad said, the 1984 team would have beaten the 80 team. I said, what the hell are you talking about? He said, he told me a story, Olczyk, Chelios, all those guys, Pat LaFontaine. And then he goes, this guy you probably haven't heard of. I was like 13, 14, and he said, who? He said, this defenseman from Michigan. He was the heaviest player out there. He could skate faster, and he had one of the hardest shots I've ever seen. He goes, Kevin Paul DuPont called him the planet, because he was all-world talented. I said, what's his name? He goes, Al Iafrate. And, he left out the empty net story, which I think is when your dad tells your stories, certain parts get edited out. And he said to me, he was a bad man with jam. He used another word in that. And he said, I was like, did he make the show? He goes, yeah, he played about 800 games. I was like, oh. And he goes, had it not been for the knee injuries, he would have been up there in that, elite class of defensemen with, Brian Leach and, those guys. And, that upper echelon in the history of the game. And, just the intriguing mix of personalities in that team, and then again the guys they could have had. I want to do a 30 for 30 on the idea, maybe ESPN. Actually, ESPN did a great job with the Gretzky piece. So just have like a round table with some of the guys, and guys that want to be interviewed one-on-one away from the round table. I think would be intriguing to say the least. And I want to talk to not only the guys that were on the team, but like Lawton, Housley, Carpenter, Barrasso especially, because I want clarification on that story. The virus saying it was random, and then you got, I guess, the story in Massachusetts is that's what happened with Barrasso. They wouldn't let him go to his sister's. They were giving him a hard time about going to his sister's wedding, which was family first, and he was like the 5th overall pick, and went on to win the Vezina Trophy as a 19-year-old rookie right out of Acton, Boxborough High School. So suffices to say, and my dad said the biggest issue with that 84 team, and he watched every game, both the 80 and 84 Olympics, was the goaltending was abysmal. They got the first shot of the game, again, and my dad told me the story, it's kind of funny, I was reading it, 20 seconds in, Canada scored on them opening night, And that's when you knew you lost the gold medal. They lost second like 4-2, and then they got shown up by the Czechs. They tied like Norway or something. It just by the time they lost to Canada, just the air was out of the sails. And I can point a finger to that goal 20 seconds, and he said it was a cheap goal. Neither one of those goalies could stop a beach ball. And Barrasso was in the middle of a trophy-winning season with the Buffalo Sabres, so it's something to think about. And hopefully the power play gets a take, because if the power play, proverbially takes off, that's one of the things I'd love to pursue. In terms of making a documentary about a team not a lot of people have heard from, and title it "Victim of Your Own Success," because they always have to have witty titles. Excuse me. For 30 for 30. But anyway, that's on this episode of the Power Play with CJ on the 1984 U.S. Olympic team. Was USA Hockey a victim of its own success? 30 for 30 in pre-production. Stay tuned for episodes throughout the season and beyond. Later, guys.